sing a song for women everywhere. Equality, development, and peace. Women can't be silent when all around the world people hurt and hungry children cry. We'll sing out loud for justice and development and hold the rights of other people high. So sing a song for women everywhere. Let it ring around the world and never, never cease. So sing a song for women everywhere. Equality, development, and peace. Women now are working to build a better world, where the love of peace can rest on every shore. When men lay down their weapons and learn to love and share, and people work to bring an end to war. So sing a song for women everywhere. Let it ring around the world and never, never cease. So sing a song for women everywhere. Equality, development, and peace. So sing a song for women everywhere. Let it ring around the world and never, never cease. So sing a song for women everywhere. Equality, development, and peace.
If you are proud to be a woman, put your hands together. Come on, you can do better than that. Wow, amazing. Please take your seat. Amazing, amazing. I feel proud, you know. That song is very emotional to me. I don't know about you. Whenever I listen to it or whenever I recite it, I feel very emotional. It's a very powerful message that is being sung every time. Thank you very much for that. Your Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Adamawa State, ably represented. Her Excellency, the wife of the Governor, ably represented. The Chief Judge of Adamawa State, ably represented. Honorable Commissioner of Agri, Professor David Jato. Members of MDA's boards and parastatals here present. The entourage of the wife of Her Excellency, the wife of the Governor. Management and staff of NURU Nigeria and GIZ. Various women's groups present. Distinguished invited guests. Gentlemen of the press. Ladies and gentlemen. Again, you are welcome. At this point in time, we are going to receive a call to action. The women from the communities have a message to deliver. Please help me welcome Nancy Joel Zira as she comes up to give us a call to action. If you want to clap, clap. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Let me observe the protocol, all observed. Permit me to talk with Hausa as I come from village. Sorry. So, muna godiya ga NURU Nigeria da Tamako GIZ. Ni ina nan ai suna Nancy Joel Zira daga Minchika Local Government. Daga Moda Cooperative Society wanda NURU ta zo ta kafa mana. Na zo ne in presenting in nuna mana hanyoyi da mata suna shan wahala a cikin yanayi community namu bisa ga culture. Amma da tamako Ubangiji ana kan samu ci gaba. A wannan lokaci amfani mu mutanen gefe Minchika local government mu mata muna sha wahala ta wuri culture wanda ba a yi kome da mu mata. In ya zo fani magana gonaki ko wayansu abubuwa na iyali ba a lissafi mu mata. Shine a wannan lokaci muna godewa NURU da Tamako GIZ. A gaskiya da su zo community namu su nuna mana cin gaba wanda a yau mu mata muna da iko kaɗan da Tamako koisuwa da su yi mana, muna nan mu samu cin gaba. A gaskiya a cikin community namu ko kuma yawanci community na Adamawa State ba a lura da mu mata. A gaskiya za ka ga iyali suna da gona, amma da cike ke mace ba za a ce kina cikin lissafi wannan gona ba. Iyayenki suna da gona amma za ki tafi ki je ki nema haya. Ga iyayi amma dumi culture za a ce ba ke ciki. Shine muna kira ga sarakuna namu, muna kira ga gwamnati su ɗauki mataki akan wannan abubuwa a tallafa wa mata yanda za a inganta rayuwarmu, domin mata su ne masu lura da gida. In miji ya kawo ma, in ke mace baki natse a gidanki, gida ba za ta yi kyau ba, amma ga natsatsen mace gida zai yi kyau. So muna kira a wannan lokaci ga gwamnati na Adamawa State zuwa sarakuna na gargajiya mu, a kai kuka mu zuwa ga iyali na kasa a tamaka wa mata bisa ga wannan. A gaskiya banda wannan kuma akwai abinda ana ce gender equality wanda GIZ da NURU su zo su tamake mu a kasar Minchika, wanda da ko a community ba a isa a kira mace a yi shawara da ita ba, amma da mutane na su wayar da mu, su kira sarakuna mu, su kira mata da maza duka su yi mana awareness. A yau na a Minchika local government mu mata muna iya shiga community a yi wayansa abubuwa da mu, domin wannan mu samu ci gaba. Muna godiya ga Allah, especially kamar ni yanzu da ke magana a cikin cooperative namu an ka kawo za a nema manager na cooperative namu, na cooperative na NURU, wanda in ba domin awareness na ba ban zama zan kasance ba, domin za a ce mace ba za ta iya ta yi komai ba. Amma kun ga ci gaban da muka samu ta wurin NURU da Tamako GIZ. So muna kira mata mu shiga kungiyoyi, in mu shiga kungiyoyi za mu kawo kuka mu, za a karbi kuka mu. A gaskiya NURU Nigeria da GIZ mun gode muku, mun gode muku, domin a wannan lokaci har su zo su yi empowering namu, su raba mana raguna, su koya mana hanyar noma, su koya mana hanyar kasuwanci, har ma mun kawo kaya sayarwa an can wanda NURU ne ta zo ta yi emphasizing, su ɗauki lokacinsu, su ɗauki damansu, su ɗauki karfinsu, su zo su tamake mu. Mata mu shiga group, mata mu kasance masu ladabi, kuma mu yi aiki da gaskiya wanda saura wuraren da ba su kai ba a kai musu. So domin haka NURU Nigeria muna gode muku. A cikin magana decision making a cikin community har yanzu mu mata ba a lissafi da mu, amma yanzu awareness ya zo, gender equality nan yana taimake mu sosai. Mu fita mata kar mu ji tsoro. Har ma bari in gaya muku wani abu mamaki, abu daɗi a faɗi kasar Minchika local government na har mu samu kansila, mace ta zama kansila. A cikin ci gaba har yau ita ne vice chairperson namu a Minchika local government. Me ya kawo wannan awareness da ana kawo ya wayar da mu mata, mu ce to bari mu tashi da kuzari mu da kwarkwata mu. Kun ga inda mata sun goya baya, in namiji 10 ta yabu mace ɗaya za ta iya ta yi kansili, ta yi overcome wannan. Idan mu tashi za mu yi aiki mata. So a wannan lokaci ina fahariya in cewa a Minchika local government ayi kansila, ayi chairperson mace, domin gender equality nan mu samu ci gaba ta wuri. In ba domin NURU Nigeria ba mu samu ba. So mata mu tashi, ban bar gwamnati ba, ina kira ga gwamnati har yanzu su kafa hanya tamako mata, su kafa hanya tamako mata ta wuri me, ta wuri samu yanci. Ta wuri samu yanci, idan mu samu yanci mata gari ta yi kyau, al'umma za ta yi kyau, ‘ya'yanmu kuma za su bunkasa a cikin kowane fanni. So don Allah ni ina godiya matuka ga NURU Nigeria da Tamako GIZ. Kun san yanda suka tamake mu, kamar ni yau nan ban taba sa abin da ana ce da shi kiwo, yin kiwo ba, amma da su zo su raba mana raguna, nawa ma yayi bunkasa har ‘yan biyu so biyu ta haifu. In ba kuɗi zuwa makaranta me za yi, za kama a biyan bukata da shi ma yara. So don Allah ina godiya, bari abinda muka zo yau nan, sarakuna mu na gargajiya, ina kira gare ku iyayena, ku tamake mu mata, ku share kuka a ido mu, ku shigar da mu a cikin iyali mu zama ɗaya daga cikin mata masu fahariya. Kar ku bar mu je muna gwana haya ga gwana gado an hana mu. Ina kira mata, me za ku ce? Na gode. Thank you very much.
Mungode, Madam Nancy. Please, let's encourage her with a round of applause. Ina ganin kaman idan Nancy ta samu dama fa za ta shiga siyasa. Because she speaks passionately as if she should overtake, and create and cause a change. Thank you so much, ma'am, for that passionate call to action. In summary, she is calling on women, particularly those where the projects are being implemented, to join forces with the cooperatives that have been set up by NURU Nigeria in collaboration with GIZ. And she has reeled out achievements that they have achieved in the course of this cooperative that they run, and the impact that has been made in the communities where today a woman, which has never been done, is a councillor in Michika local government area. And this is courtesy of the awareness campaigns and the enlightenment programs that have been taken to them down in their communities. She's encouraging and calling for more proactive measures so that even the government too can reach out to as more women that they can, and in order to create a change in the society. Thank you again, Madam Nancy Joel, for that very remarkable and precise call to action. While this program was going on, I was just imagining it. I was only imagining, had it been that USAID was a funder of what NURU Nigeria and GIZ is doing, we wouldn't have been gathered here today, to hear these remarkable stories that are being reeled out. There are more to come. But thank God, NURU Nigeria and GIZ is being funded by the European Union. So we have no cause for alarm. Please appreciate them for this, for their magnanimity. And this is done in collaboration with the Federal Ministry for Development, Germany, BMZ. They are the funders of all projects that NURU Nigeria and GIZ are implementing. We thank them for that very gracious act that they have done and are doing. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we would like at this point to welcome on stage the representative of the wife of the governor, Uwar Marayu, Gimbiyan Sheleng, Sarauniyar Gulak, Alƙibban Matan Adamawa, Hajiya Lami Ahmadu Umaru Fintri. Please help me welcome the representative and the Commissioner for Women Affairs, Honorable Nado Kofulto Geoffrey, as she comes up to give us the welcome address. Please put your hands together for her.
We are here at Unity Flyover in Adamawa State, and the reason for this celebration is for the International Women's Day. Today we are calling people to ensure the rights, the resources and representation of women and girls increase. We also are asking people to accelerate action for women empowerment. We are here as a call to action for the whole of Adamawa State and the whole of northeastern Nigeria.
A professor went to Numan to carry out a research. I am full of stories. He went to Numan to carry out research. He was coming from the Americas. And all the places he will go is Dili. He was carrying out a research on Dili, one of the communities along the river banks. So he, peradventure, of course, he cannot travel without traveling on the waters because it was the rainy season that time. So he entered a canoe and got a young lad to paddle him down. And on their way going, the professor got curious and began to ask the young man questions. He was asking him, "Boy, have you gone to school?" And the boy said, "No, sir." Is this kind of boys that grew up in the barracks, you know? But he didn't go to school. He said, "No, sir, I no go school." "You mean you did not go to school?" The boy said, "Oga, me I start school small, but I drop him on the way. Man must hustle. Now I say, man, I come on that bridge, come they get daily living." The professor said, "Boy, you mean you did not go to school?" The boy said, "Oga, this is your question. Don't be going to become matter. Oh. I don't tire. Oh. I say I no go school." The professor said, "Boy, half of your life is gone." They continued paddling on their way, and the boy waited when they got right in the middle of their journey. Far away from Numan, not close to Dili, just in the center. Then the boy now said, it is his turn to ask the professor a question. The boy now asked the professor, "Oga, sir, you sabi swim?" The professor said, "Boy, what do you mean?" "Oga, I say you sabi swim. Now yeah, they ask. How can you ask me that kind of question? What has gotten to you? Why would you ask me if I can swim?" He said, "Oga, answer. You sabi swim." The professor now looked right and left and center. He said, "No, I don't know how to swim. Even if I could, it's just in a swimming pool. But in a big water like this, I cannot swim." And then the boy said, "Oga, all of your life is gone." So be careful when you trade on murky waters. You never can tell what the outcome is. All right. We want to apologize. We have a little correction. Permit me to recognize all permanent secretaries here present. Earlier, I wasn't properly informed of your presence. Please pardon me for that. Especially, we want to recognize Hajja Zainab Umar, the permanent secretary, Women Affairs. We also have Madam Maimuna Umar Mafindi from the Scholarship Board. You're all welcome. Please, let's appreciate them with a round of applause. And in case there are distinguished personalities here that are worth mentioning, please let us have their names and their portfolios so we could recognize them appropriately.
So the Honorable Commissioner is now representing the First Lady of the state. So she will be the last person to speak, but she was supposed to give the welcome address. That was what we were discussing here. Please, I want all the women, all the members of the Ministry of Women Affairs to stand up, please. My friends and passionate colleagues from NURU, Nigeria, stand up, please. And our friends, committed colleagues from GIZ, please stand up. I want you to give those people a round of applause. They are the people who made this day possible and brought us to this room today. Sit down, please. Thank you. the Executive Governor of Adamawa State, Right Honorable Ahmadu Umaru Fintri, His Excellency, the Deputy Governor, Her Excellency Professor Kaleptapua George Farauta, ably represented by Hajia Hawabanu, the First Lady of Adamawa State, Hajia Lami Ahmadu Fintri, gallantly represented by our host of the day, the Commissioner for Women Affairs, Honorable Nedo Geoffrey Kofolto. The Chief Judge of Adamawa State, Justice Hapsat, ably represented by Justice Helen. The Commissioner for Agriculture, Professor David Jato, our father and partner in this journey. If you know NURU Nigeria, you know that we implement agricultural projects, and that is why he is seated amongst the women today. The senior gender, the vice chairpersons from various local governments, especially those from Hong, Gombe, and Minchika local government, who have tirelessly partnered with us to ensure equity and equality in their various locations. The senior gender advisor, GIZ Nigeria and ECOWAS, Mrs. Kate Okopina X-Square, head of component, gender and economic participation, Madam Grace Danjuma, the area manager, Norwegian Refugee Council. I will use her as the focal point to recognize my colleagues from various NGOs and CSOs present here. I know there are a lot of executive directors present in this room. Permanent secretaries present here. Our royal fathers, our farmers, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It is an honor and a privilege to stand before you in this momentous occasion, International Women's Day 2025. Today marks the 30th year of the Beijing Declaration. Clap for women and girls all over the world for their commitment and their resolve through this 30 years journey. Today we gather here to recognize, celebrate, and reaffirm our commitment of the advancement of women in our communities, our states, and our nation at large. The theme for this year's celebration, for all women and girls, rights, equality, empowerment. This resonates deeply with the progress we have witnessed and the impact we continue to drive through gender transformative programs. 2025, like I earlier said, is the 30th anniversary of the Beijing Declaration and the platform for action, a blueprint for women's rights and equity. This makes today's celebration very special to women across the world. To amplify the voices of women and girls globally, we have to accelerate action. And that's why the call for this year is Accelerate Action. Accelerate action in closing the equity, equality, and inclusion gaps globally. Allow me to begin by acknowledging the critical role the Adamawa state government has played, the German Corporation for International Development, GIZ, the German Federal Ministry for Economic Cooperation and Development, BMZ, and European Union has played. They are the ones who have supported the implementation of the Building Community Resilience through Agribusiness Development Project by NURU Nigeria. The project is to empower women and transform the livelihood of the entire community, leaving no one behind. Through collaboration, we have been able to challenge systemic inequalities, like Madam Nancy has already mentioned this morning, and elevate women as critical players in sustainable development. At NURU Nigeria, we firmly believe that resilience is the result of collective action by a community. Resilience is rooted in the power of community. And today, we see this resilience embodied in remarkable women who, despite the challenges they face, when we say women in the community and when we say farmers, women actually represent about 70% of the people who are players in the agricultural production and productivity. Despite the challenges that Madam Nancy has mentioned this morning, they also grapple with the challenges of climate change. So I go beyond calling them farmers. I call them warriors and Amazons that are represented in our community. Over the last 24 months, together with GIZ and with the support of BMZ and the European Union, NURU Nigeria has implemented the building community resilience through agribusiness development project that ensures women empowerment in line with the German feminist policy that calls us to accelerate action through the rights, representation, and resources of women and girls. In the last 24 months, we are able to achieve 32,000 direct beneficiaries. We were able to work with over 5,000 farmers, and amongst these 5,000 farmers, 7 of 10 are women. Like Madam Nancy has mentioned, we have also promoted their assets by delivering ewes and ram to each woman who is part of the NURU project. We have seen a shift also in the various harmful traditional practices, including domestic violence, issues of inheritance, which I believe our district heads from Hong, Gombe, and Minchika local government will speak to here today. I want to take this moment to beg you, my fathers, please stand up. Please, a round of applause for these men. They have been changing the narrative in their community. We cannot even begin to speak of today's success without them. Please, another round of applause for them. Thank you so much, sir. You know, it's only in gatherings like this that I can tell my fathers to stand up, and they stand. These are farmers who are going beyond shackles of poverty and injustice to the corridor of resilience and hope. Today, we also reflect on the incredible strides by Adamawa state government that has made gender equity and inclusion a reality in governance. In 2024, we applauded the historic appointments and elections of our first female deputy governor, our first female majority leaders, our first female chairperson of planning commission, our first female chief judge, the commissioners of information, who is now the commissioner of women affairs, the commissioner of women affairs, who is now the commissioner of transport. These women have been instrumental in shaping these groundbreaking changes. However, my state, I am proud to say, Adamawa State did not stop there. The government of Adamawa State deemed it fit and mandatory that all the vice chairpersons of the 21 local government areas must be women. This is not just progress. This is a very bold statement by the government of Adamawa State to ensure gender parity. This achievement should not have been possible without the unwavering support of Her Excellency, the First Lady of Adamawa State, Hajia Lami Umaru Fintri Uwarmarayu, as everyone calls her. She has been a pillar of support, a beacon of hope, and a tireless advocate for women, persons living with disability, and our communities at large. Her dedication reminds us all that when women lead, communities thrive. Please, a round of applause for her. Beyond leadership and governance, the heart of this celebration lies in the story of resilience from our community today. Today, we have the privilege of hearing an extraordinary story. There are so many stories from our community, but I want to pick one from Gombe local government, Telabala, the story of Mrs. Miriam Raphael. Please, Mrs. Miriam Raphael, come and share the stage with me. Hausawa suka ce waka a bakin mai shi ya fi daɗi ko? So bari in ba ma Mrs. Miriam Raphael to say her story by herself.
Sunana Miriam Raphael daga Telabala, Gombe local government. Ina ɗaukan matakan gaisuwa daga babba har zuwa dukanmu wanda muka taro a nan. Ina da testimony wanda nake da shi a haka. So ni rayuwa na tashi ne a cikin noma. Noman da nake yi ina nan da yara ba ishe ni abu da nake yi ba. So ina tafiya da shi rayuwa ya zama da wahala. Abinci ba cikakke ba. Amma abun da ya taimake ni cikin rayuwa, GIZ, NURU Nigeria, ta zo ta kafa mana kungiyoyi, muka kafa kungiyoyi, kananan kungiyoyi, ni ina cikin zumunci. So a zumunci na idan muka tafi a dashe muna sa abubuwan da za mu iya mu aje domin taimakon mata nan gaba. So sun zo sun koya mana game da kasuwanci. Sun ce mana ba sai noma kaɗai mutum zai iya ci gaba da rayuwa da shi ba. Kasuwanci yana da kyau. So kasuwanci nan kuma ba sai kana da kuɗi da yawa za ka fara kasuwanci ba. In ka samu kuɗi kaɗan za ka iya ci gaba da kasuwanci da shi. So da suka koya mana haka, ina tunani a kai, na ce to wani kasuwanci zan yi? Sai na ce to bari in gwada kasuwanci na miya. So da na fara sai na bani da kuɗin da ma zan fara da shi. Sai na tafi kananan kungiyoyin da muke da shi nan. Na je na ara kuɗi a cikin asusunmu, na ara 40,000. Da na are 40,000, na je na saya karkashi. Karkashin nan za ku gani kamar cewa wa zai ci ma karkashi. Karkashin za ku ji abin da karkashi ya yi mini. So da na saya karkashin nan, ina sayarwa a kasuwa, ina zuwa in sayar a kasuwa. Karkashin na 40,000 nan ya yi girma, ya zama kuma buhu nake da shi. So buhu na ma ina kaiwa garkida. Garkida ma ba a garkida za a aje ba, mu biyu ake kaiwa. So ina kawo Gombe kuma har yana tafiya mubi. Ina tafiya a cikin karkashin nan, na zo karshen shekara, na yi lissafi, ina sayan sabulu ma yarana, wani lokaci zan ɗauki kuɗin makaranta a ciki. So karkashin nan na zo na ajiye riba ya kai 100,000. Na ce me zan yi da 100,000? To yanzu na samu 100,000. A community namu kamar da wayansu suna faɗa, mata ba su samun gado na fili. So ba za ka samu gado na fili ka gina ko bukanka a ciki ba. So sai na ce to me zan yi yanzu? Sai na je na saya fili a Gombe. Na saya fili da 100,000 yana ajiye yanzu. So har yanzu ban saya ba fa, na ci gaba. Ina kan sana'an nan. Wannan shekaran da ya wuce na biyu, na sake ajiye riba na 120,000. Sai na ce to ya zan yi? Sai na je na tona rijiya a inda na saya fili na aje. Na ce to yanzu fili na mallake shi tunda ban ji komai akai ba, nawa ne. So da cike haka kuma har yanzu na ci gaba, ina kan kasuwancin karkashi. A yanzu haka karkashi banan nan wanda na saya karkashi 12,000 buhu. Karshe wanda nake sayarwa, wanda tukuna yanzu ina kai ban karasa ba, na sayar da karkashi 60,000. So 60,000 nan yanzu ina planning cewa filin da nake da shi nan zan yi gini a wuri in Allah ya yarda. So NURU Nigeria ina kira mu da babban muryar mata, kada mu tsaya a wuri ɗaya ba, domin kasuwanci abu ne wanda yake inganta mutum. Yanzu kun gani ma za ku ce ni ma'aikaci ne, amma ni ba ma'aikaci ba, kasuwa ne yake taimako na. Ina iya cin nama sau 2 a sati, domin na je kasuwa zan saya nama, in na je Gombe zan saya kifi, yara na man kun gansu kamar ni suke. So ina kiran ku da babban murya yadda za mu yi kasuwanci. kada mu rena kasuwanci. Kasuwanci yana da kyau. ZIZ Nuru Nigeria abunda suka kafa a cikin al'umma sai Allah kaɗai ne zai biya musu. Muna gode musu, Allah ya musu albarka. Inda kuma ba su waye ba, muna addu'a Nuru Nigeria ta je wurin ta wayar da su domin su ci gaba mu yi murna tare da su. Mun gode.
Thank you so much, Madam Miriam Raphael. By the way, Madam Miriam Raphael is a widow with 5 children. And this is the story of so many women in the community. Madam Miriam Raphael's story today exemplifies the power of livelihood diversification. She took advantage of the savings and loan group facilitated by the BC-RAD project in accessing capital for her dry vegetable business. She is actively writing poverty out of the story of her life and now replacing it with hope for her own future and the future of her children. These stories and many others like them in our community are the essence of our celebration today. These resilient women who are farmers in our various rural areas are the purpose of today's celebration. They remind us that when women are given the right tools, training, and opportunities, they do not just survive, they thrive, they lead, and they uplift communities, creating ripple effects for generations unborn. As we embark on today's engagement, let us all take inspiration on the remarkable progress that we have made as a community, as a country. I want to take this moment to deeply appreciate the effort of the Adamawa State Government, especially the Ministry of Agriculture and the Ministry of Women Affairs, who have been with us on this journey from the beginning. And then the Ministry of Transport, who have supported us with the vehicles for yesterday's rallies. The Ministry of Planning Commission, without whom we will not be registered nor recognized in the states. I want to also take a moment to thank our chief host and our host, the Office of the First Lady of Adamawa State, and the Ministry of Women Affairs. To our royal fathers, the traditional rulers, and the gatekeepers of our community, we want to thank you so much for the level of acceptance you have given to us and for jealously guarding the principles and the trainings that have been given. I want to also appreciate our resilient farmers and the farmer organization who have embraced the positive changes and choose path to resilience instead of dependency. Thank you to the NURU Nigeria team. Thank you to our friends in GIZ. At the end, empowering young women and girls is the key to lasting change. Once again, I welcome you all to the 2025 International Women's Day celebration. Let us celebrate resilience, progress, and the unstoppable power of women. Thank you, and God bless you.
Please put your hands together. You can do better than that. Wow. Amazing. 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 Madam Karkashi. You see, these are real stories, real life stories. They are not just written on the pages of books, but you can see them, you can hear them, you can feel them. See how life is being transformed simply because a message has been well delivered. Thank you again, Managing Director NURU, for this very remarkable welcome address. Please appreciate her once again. And appreciate Madam Miriam Mekarkashi. Please appreciate her. and as many champions women that we have here tonight. Please put your hands together for them. Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you. Your Excellency, the wife of the governor, ably represented by the Commissioner of Women Affairs, permit me at this point to recognize amongst us some permanent secretaries that are worth mentioning. Help me with a round of applause. Welcome Madam Mercy Dauda, the Permanent Secretary, State Boundary overseeing Ministry of Culture and Tourism, if I'm not mistaken. You're welcome, ma'am. I would also like to welcome Madam Melody Heyman from the Ministry of Mineral Resources. You're welcome, ma'am. Permit me to also welcome Tanimu Buba from the Ministry of Planning, from the Planning Commission and Special Duties. You're welcome, sir. I also would like to welcome the Permanent Secretary, Adamawa State Pensions Board, Hajia Aishatu Rilwan Bibi. You're welcome, ma'am. Retired. Oh, I beg your pardon. I didn't know when you retired, ma'am. When you just came in, I just noticed your presence and I had to. You're welcome, ma'am. Retired but not tired. You're welcome. Thank you for coming. We also would like to recognize the chairperson of FIDA, Barrister Jamila Babuba. You're welcome, ma'am. Welcome. Thank you for coming. We have among us the Network of Adamawa Non-Governmental Organization, NANGO, represented by the Vice Chairperson, Hajia Aishatu Yakubu. You're welcome. Thank you for coming. We especially want to appreciate the women from the Women Affairs. They have kept us entertained from the beginning, and they are not relenting on it. I'm sure time is coming where they will have the floor to dance and make merry. Please help me appreciate the women from the Ministry of Women Affairs. You can all stand for recognition. Please stand, it's important. Yes, you are all welcome. We recognize you specially. Yawa, napid the hiki. Tomorrow, so that I don't come to the ministry, I check one of my tongue. Yawa, Mungode, please sit down. Thank you. Appreciate them once again. Thank you so much. Mungode. Okay, so at this point, Your Excellency, ma'am, distinguished guests, permit me to call the cultural dancers from the arts and culture for their special dance, which they tag the agricultural dance. Please put your hands together and make welcome the Adamawa State Arts Culture for their presentation. Thank you.